Hello and welcome everybody from the internet to a video ideas for Visor cleanup detail. Today I'd like to speak with you about some basic gameplay mechanics, minor annoyances I would like to see removed from the game, tools and gadgets for the player to use, and of course Visor. Let's talk about some body parts now, shall we? Now, having played more than one first-person game, we all know that there are keys unused by Visor cleanup detail. The Q, E and F key are popular keys. However, these keys now give us creative freedom, and I think I thought of a few neat ideas we could use these for. First of all, I like to throw stuff all over the place in Visor cleanup detail. However, to throw an object, I need to shake my camera like a crazy person. I thought maybe it's cool if we use the F key to throw an object the direction you are facing, in an arc. So you could perhaps skill shot it into the basket, or into the furnace, or I don't know, at your just cleaned floor just to piss off your other players. Yeah. Perhaps if you hold down the F key for a second or so, you would toss the object across the room, hurling it down. Of course, small objects will fly further, while bigger objects will just lob a small distance, depending of course on the size and the weight of the object. Another idea I had for the E key is to magically summon warning wet floor signs. Now I in gameplay use these signs to indicate parts I still have to clean, like for example bullet holes. If one of these signs is nearby and there are bullet holes in or the floor or in this wall, I place the sign next to them as an indicator that I have to fix those before finishing the level. I use them often. However, currently you have to go to an object dispenser, dispense these bastards, drag them all over the place and place them at their location. This is time consuming and unnecessary. I would like to summon these with the E key. Now some of you may say, well, that's unrealistic. Well, I don't give a damn. You see, you clean door consoles who have little small keys that you need to clean by poking them with your mop 3 times. That's it. Then you magically clean the entire thing. It's not about realism. At least not everything is. So just the idea that I could place signs as indicators and perhaps remove them if I'm holding one with the E key, it's something I would like to see in the game. Then the last idea I have not the last, but regarding it's not the last. But another idea I have is to use the Q button to throw things like flares, or perhaps, if they would be implemented, glow sticks. Could be depending on the theme of the level you're playing at. Now the idea is that you could pick up flares and glow sticks, and your janitor would kind of put them in his pockets. Perhaps you could only carry, let's say, 5 or something, and that by pressing the Q button he will activate them and throw them. Currently, to use a flare, you need to pick up the flare with your hands, then smash it against a solid object. You need to smash the outer end of it against a solid object in order to activate it. Of course, then you need to shake your camera to throw it at a location. The idea that you could press Q and just pop a flare and throw it over there. I think it would make the gameplay more smooth. And then, last but not least, crouching. Why can't we crouch? Is the janitor incapable of crouching? If you could just press the control key, I meant the control key to crouch. It won't serve any specific gameplay mechanics, but it will give this extra bit of immersion. Before I go over my ideas for tools, I wish to talk about a minor annoyance of the game. Dispensers are sometimes still dispensing, hard word, body parts, upon which instead of a bucket you get a piece of jaw. This was funny perhaps in Splatter Station at the first alpha. It kept you busy, but now it makes A, no sense, and B, it pisses me off. It isn't fun anymore, and I wish it removed. Now, tools. There's a difference, I think, between tools and gadgets. To me, gadgets are things like the laser welder, things you pick up and need to drop before you switch to another tool. Tools are of course your mop, but also the broom and the shovel. Tools I would like to see added in the game. Believe it or not, but I want an axe. Now, why do I want an axe? Well, you have the okay, so you have this level. I forgot its name, but this underwater station, and there are these octopi tentacles. You have to pick them up and kind of shove them in the oven, in the incinerator. It's really clunky. It's deliberate, but I thought, what if you had an axe? You could chop these fuckers in smaller bits and pieces. Yeah, and the other level I was playing the other day, Cryo Station. You have these huge mutants, like beasts that chop everybody in half, but they are shot with some sort of shotgun or lightning rifle, whatever. And they are like, some of them are smaller bits, but some of them are like 50% of the body in half, like the legs and the torso. You have to pick up torso and some way manage to fit it in the incinerator. What I ended up doing was finding the welder, firing the laser at these bodies until they were reduced to a burning pulp. This way they were much easier to carry around and created a lot smaller mass. I think it would be interesting if you had an axe to chop down these body parts with. For the axe, the main click should chop. The secondary fire, you should sharpen and clean the axe. If you don't clean your axe, you would need more chops to chop body parts. This way we could also have entire bodies. People, I don't know, got shot, but the arms and legs didn't fall off. And you could still chop them down in smaller bits and pieces to fit them inside of a bucket. Well, that sounded slightly sadistic, now didn't it? Another nice gadget to add to this idea would be a chainsaw, which you will find in the plant levels. I think that in the plant levels you could have like these huge mutant plants with tentacles and heads and stuff. If you had to grab the chainsaw and saw them in little bits and pieces to speed up the process of putting them back into the incinerator. That sounds like a cool idea. Then another thing, the laser welder appears in every level. It's kind of like a necessary tool, but then make it part of your tools, like a small welder to get rid of bullet holes. And not that I want the item removed, I just don't want to if it is not a part of what wait, I'm looking for the name. If it is not part of what the janitor usually carries, which is a mop essentially, then don't make it appear in every level. because that becomes redundant. Like, well, I don't have to worry about my laser welder because in every station I go at there was probably one laying around. Either give him a laser welder, a small one, to do stuff, or make levels that are deliberately designed not to need a laser welder. Just don't include the item to, not make you feel dependent on it.